So as you know, we have Amp Live and Dell in the building. So let's give them a round of applause. How many of you guys have heard the new record, Gate 13? How's everybody feeling about that? Pretty dope, right? Pretty dope. So I guess I just want to kind of start off talking a little bit about the record. So how did your kind of relationship start to begin with?
I mean, we're both from the Bay, so we've been around each other, I guess, in the music sense, at shows and that type of stuff. So it's kind of like, cats would bump into each other, get to know each other. But I mean, I had Dell on, I think it was the Fourth Night album, and actually even did some remixes. So the actual relationship of working with each other started pretty early.
What do you think it is about your styles that kind of gel, Dell?
Yeah.
Nice.
Why are you asking me? Nah, I just think we got similar personalities, to tell you the truth. I think that's why it works pretty good. But I also admire what he does too. So.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
So nice. That's love right there.
It goes vice versa.
So, a couple of my favorite tracks were The Glow, which I thought was really interesting. And the reason that I say this is because I felt like it was kind of a warning almost to not get caught up in the glitz and the glamour that can kind of come along with the music industry. So you guys are vets at this point. So what are kind of the most important lessons you've learned over your years of being in kind of the proverbial spotlight?
Oh.
So many.
Most important lessons. I'm trying to distill it. Just something, you just can't take things at face value a lot of times. You got to kind of do a double take. That's probably the best thing I've learned.
I think stay true to your insides, how you're feeling. I think a lot of people try to switch up to stay current or to try to fit in. And they end up ruining something that was going really good. And the truth of the matter is, the more original you are, the harder it is, but the more chances you have for longevity. And so if you could just stay true to your feelings and what you really want to do, in the long run, it will be a lot better. So I think, that's definitely something I've learned.
Well, I was watching a 2015 interview with you, and you were talking about how artists kind of need to put out a lot more than they used to in the past. You could kind of work a whole album for years before you'd really need to put something else out. So how has that kind of changed your output?
We actually probably feel differently about it.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Yeah, you answer first.
I like making music, so as much as I could put out, I would do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm actually trying to find ways to put more music out. You know what I mean? So I don't mind.
Well, I can think of one. Deltron 3030. Who wants another Deltron 3030 record? I know I do.
Go one person.
One person. No, I'm pretty sure everybody in here would want another one.
Hey, I was talking to a group of people last night though about that, and I asked them, okay, so what is it about Deltron that you really dig so much? Is it that you would want another Deltron album, or do you just like the way that me and Dan operate together? And it was like, nah, it's more of this. If we couldn't have this, we'd be upset. I don't care if it's Deltron or whatever you work on with him, because whatever you work on with him is gold to us.
It's gonna be tight.
You know what I'm saying? So
Well,
I was like, okay,
yeah,
I
Kid
can
Koala.
get with that. Yeah, Kid Koala too.
Yeah.
Kid Koala's, he's stupid, dude.
So
he a genius, dude. He one of the rawest fools I know.
Well, I
what
just
to say.
interviewed him for the first time 2 days ago, actually, and we talked about that a little bit. And he said, anytime you're ready, he's ready. So Deltron 3030.
Who said that?
Kid.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know he's ready. He always ready.
I know, right? Yeah, did you hear his new album, the Floor Kids soundtrack?
Oh yeah. I wanted to do some stuff. I wanted to do some stuff with him with that. So he wanted to make never mind.
I know what he wants to do. And I hope it happens. So let's just keep it at that. You guys will have to wait for the big announcement down the line. But yeah, so we got Deltron. Okay. So then I also kind of want to talk about Gorillas a little bit. So let's take it back to the Gorillas. Now, that first record that they did, I felt was amazing, but do you kind of feel that that kind of opened your audience and kind of gave you a broader reach when you were on that record?
Sure, but honestly, yeah, I would say that's correct. But a lot of people that knew me already, they just knew that that was me. So if you never heard me before, or whatever, it just kind of went over your head. Mm-hmm. But there was other people that heard it that was telling them like, oh, you don't know who that is, blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of how a lot of that connection started happening, you know what I mean? That's what they told me anyway.
Yeah.
Those people, that's what they told me.
And you've gone on the road with them a couple times, is that right? Or
Yeah, I'm about to go back out on the road with them again.
are you serious? When is that happening?
A couple of months from now, maybe a
Damn.
month from now, maybe a little bit over a month from now, yeah. In Europe.
Damn, that's going to be tight. Okay, well, so let's talk a little bit more about your collaborations together. So I guess I was going to say, like, when you guys get together, what is there like any kind of magic that you guys would say you have aside from having kind of the same personality, kind of, you know, how do you guys work together, I guess, when you're in the same room? Like, what's the process
Have
like?
we ever even worked together in the same room?
Not really.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, because it's kind of like mutual thinking and stuff. And it's just freedom. Like literally, he was just like, do whatever you want to do. And I was like, well, just rap about whatever you want to rap about. We made it work. And
So
nowadays
it's
with
that simple.
technology,
Yeah.
you don't really have to be in the same room if you kind of already vibing with somebody. So, yeah, it just works like that. But I mean, in the future, that would be tight too.
Yes.
You know, if we could make it work.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it or anything. It just hasn't happened like that yet.
Huh. And you're both from the Bay Area, you say?
Yeah, I'm in LA. Well, that's probably the main reason why it happened like this time, because I'm in LA.
Oh,
and
you
he's
are?
in the Bay, yeah.
Oh, did you
So,
move to LA?
Yes.
Oh,
Wow.
well, I did not know that.
Oh, well, there we go.
Well, but Del, too, you were telling me in one of our last interviews that battle rap has kind of been a big influence on you. You say you kind of study that shit all day, all night. So how has that kind of changed your writing process, if at all?
It's always been my influence because that's pretty much where it starts at. You know what I'm saying? Just with your friends, popping shit, rhyming. That's just something that you do, you know what I'm saying? Or dance, or you try to DJ or whatever. Maybe you do graffiti, you know what I mean? It just start off like that. But it's just gotten to the point that that part of hip-hop has its own lane now. You know what I'm saying? So it's just hella interesting to me because that's pretty much how I started off at. I feel like that's the purest form. You feel me? So I'll say like this. It influences me with my lyrics as far as what level I feel like my lyrics should be at. You know what I mean? Because I'm pretty much into the skill level. You know what I mean? So if it's not at a certain skill, I'm already hard on myself anyway. You know what I mean? But it gives me some kind of measurement stick to let me know today what is dope. You know what I'm saying? What is the highest today? Because I can't really get it from other places. Like they don't, a lot of people don't even care about their lyrical skill at all.
Nope, not these
It's just a
days,
second
especially.
thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not saying that's bad or anything. You know what I mean? It's really depend on how it sounds and if you like it or not. But for me, I need something more. So, you know, that's.
Do you think like we're kind of seeing a shift though, maybe back to kind of lyricism in a way? Like it's never gone away per se. Like there's always people making dope shit, dope lyrics, but at the same time, this kind of mumble rap generation, I hate to kind of say that, but it's kind of true, has kind of infiltrated mainstream radio, mainstream everything. And people are kind of getting, I feel like, the wrong idea about what hip hop is. And so do you feel like maybe with artists such as yourself kind of doing records again, that maybe that could be kind of in again?
Hold on before you start talking. First of all,
Yeah.
mumble rap ain't nothing more. Wop babaloo bop bop bamboo is mumble rap too. You know what I'm saying? Like so, I'm not going.
Scatting and jazz is mumble rap. So
Yes.
that, and you know
Right.
what? You know it's. I found that out because I was talking to somebody younger, and they're like, you know what? Because I wasn't in the debate, but I was hearing it. It was like mumble rap versus like lyrics, and the young man supporting mumble rap was like, look, man, what you guys don't understand is, even though you can't understand what they're saying, you can hear the feeling and kind of get it. And if you listen to jazz scatting, it's the same thing. And then all of a sudden everybody's like, wait a minute, you're kind of right.
Wait, you just made a good point.
So it's like, I feel like, honestly, and, you know, just to address your question, if you're listening to mainstream radio, I can see how you can say that, but there's so many ways to hear music now.
Yeah.
So I think being a lyricist is not necessarily back, but now you can find out more groups that are in that vein.
So there's more options, basically.
Definitely more
Yeah.
options. So I think right now you're just getting a variety of what you want. Now, in the mainstream, you know, in commercial radio, that is what's pushed. But you know, that's changing. So I don't know. I think it's a good thing to have all these options. Honestly,
Yeah. Some people have even said like maybe there should be subgenres in hip hop. Like
there already are. You don't even have
do you-
to say it. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's kind of like where we are right now?
I mean, really, yeah, but
It's been like that.
yeah, it's been like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting to the point where you can't really put anything in a box at this point because kids are just influenced by so many different things. When they put their stuff on the plate, you know what I mean? It's going to be them. And that could be made up of all different kind of stuff that you can't even put a label on it no more. They start putting the label alternative on it, you know what I mean? But at this point, you can't even do that, you know what I mean? But it don't matter to them neither. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. And that's like the average person. The average person is like, I don't care what genre it is. If it sucks, it sucks. I don't care. If it sound good, I'll listen to it.
I'm kind of like the same way with it's like good music, bad music. I mean, that's kind of how I judge things these days. But yeah,
You know, music too, they got different places for different times too. Like sometimes you don't want to listen to no kind of theory of nothing. I'm in the club. I'm looking at girls or whatever. I don't want to listen to that now. You know what I mean?
you just want a beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Or
it's the
something that
truth.
sound good to make me move, fit the mood that I'm
Do you
in.
dance?
Yeah.
Dance or whatever it is. I might be talking to a girl over here trying to get drunk with her or something. I want something that fit the mood, the lighting that's in the
Real
building.
talk.
You feel me?
Real talk.
You're not trying to like dissect
Not
lyrics
holding
at
back
that
right
point.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Oh my God. Okay, so I don't know if I'm gonna regret bringing this up or not, but we shall see. So kind of a big topic this past week in the world of hip hop. You know where this is going. You know where this is going. Is obviously Kanye West.
What about?
I have a question. I wanna know what you think of his kind of tactics recently to kind of get back out there, like
What tactics? What are you talking about?
Twitter.
I
I'm sure you don't
I-
pay attention to Twitter.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You
so
don't
you're
know?
gonna have to explain it to me.
Okay,
What'd
so
he do?
basically,
What'd he do this time? I mean,
all right, so basically he did an interview with Charlemagne the God, and it was released, I think it was like 2 hours long. And he was semi-coherent, like did a pretty good interview, like opened up a lot. Then this dude decides to go on TMZ Live for whatever reason, and he goes off on a complete rampage, and he actually made the comment that 400 years of slavery sounded like a choice. Yeah, girl, Saja, for real. So, obviously, media ate that up, and it's been, nonstop kind of shit show. And a lot of people are kind of accusing him of, oh, well, you're just trying to do this for publicity. You're just trying
But
to do this for albums.
what sense does that make, though? Why would you do that when there's so
Exactly.
many other things that you can do?
Exactly.
No, that sounds like he really is. He means that. It's not no
yeah.
publicity stunt.
Yeah.
I think it's a combination of a lot of things in one pot. I think mentally he's changing a little bit. I think he kind of is removed a little bit, and he might kind of feel like that somewhat. And I also think that he has been in the machine for a long time. So yes, this is going to be publicity. It's part of his personality. I mean, Kanye has been like that from day one. He just speaks his mind, very emotional, and just comes right out. And when you're like that, there's pros and cons. And when you're the opposite, it's pros and cons. So it's just like, it's just all of this in one.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's unfortunate that he said that, and he did try to backtrack. But it's definitely brought up a debate within the Black community about it, and hopefully he really has thought about what he says, and if that's the way he feels, that's the way he feels. As time goes on, you might hear more people say that because, That's just how it is when generations and generations.
He got the luxury to be able to say that is what it is.
And that's
Yeah.
that was brought up actually. So, yeah.
What do you mean by that, Del?
Well, he's Kanye. He has the luxury to feel like that. If he didn't have no money in one of them tents down the street from my house where like all them other people, he would probably wouldn't be saying that.
Well, that was kind of one of the arguments that he's kind of lost touch with reality. And somebody said, oh, he's just locked up in his castle in Calabasas and like doesn't understand the gravity of his comments and how they affect people, you know?
I think he might not care to a certain extent now because of what happened with his mom and all the things he's been through. He might not care. Like,
Yeah.
or he might have just lost it a long time ago. Like, I don't care about nothing.
Yeah.
And it's just like that. You know what I'm saying? All I know is that incident, that changed his life forever.
Yeah.
That's clear. You know what I'm saying? He's been going through it since then. So whatever he do, I'm going to always look back at that and be like, okay, I could get it.
Right.
That don't mean I agree with him. You know what I'm saying? But I can understand how he got to that place.
Well, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah. I mean, even Common today, I guess, was saying, like, you know, I love him. Like, obviously, he's going through some shit. And there's compassion for him. But at the same time, there's a lot of people out there not giving him a pass for this. They're like, no, fuck that.
And I understand that, too.
Yeah. I mean, they already had, like, I guess some Detroit radio station already muted his music. Like, they're not playing it. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. So he's still going to be, like, a multimillionaire.
But he's also gaining
Yeah.
fans that agree with that.
Probably.
You know? And,
And
that's a
then,
crazy thing.
I mean,
but-
I'm curious to see what happens when he drops his album, supposedly June 1st. He's coming out with a new solo record. So,
well,
yeah.
yours last is your good single. And if any of you guys are hip hop heads, you know who said that. And honestly, I mean, I'm not going to say this, but there are people who've done some really crazy things and gotten like Oscars and Grammys the next year. So
Yep, I know.
it's entertainment.
Yeah. I feel like it's not really, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I was just curious too, like, does that make you, I mean, do you guys, are you on social media? Like, do you guys, how do you,
Yeah.
are you careful about how you navigate? I mean, I feel like you could say anything and like the next thing you know, like, you're just getting taken down because of one tweet. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's, first of all, you in front of everybody right there. And some people, they just like to cause a stir anyway. You feel me? Over anything. So it could be any reason, but like everybody's anonymous. So it gives them the freedom to say what they want to say to a certain extent. But but Kanye ain't. He ain't anonymous.
Look,
you know what I'm saying? So he can't say whatever he want to say and not nobody say nothing about it.
I wouldn't do that. But again, you have to be yourself.
Yeah.
We need some of everybody. And so if you're going to be controversial, if you are going to say things that are going to be disrespectful to people, you just got to be able to back it up, you know? And
It's
that's
a
really
weird
what it
thing
boils down
because it's
to.
like you need social media in this era because you got to promote your music. You got to,
Yes.
you know.
I don't think so. I
You
think
don't?
that's
you
the
do.
social media. I think with social media now, people use that to promote, but you don't need that to promote. You promote by telling somebody.
But that's the way people talk,
That's
though.
true.
Yeah, now.
That's the thing.
Now, you know what I'm saying?
I look
But
at
you've
it-
always been able to talk and tell somebody about something, and then they tell somebody about the same thing or whatever. It spread like that, no matter how you do it. It could be bullhorns. So no, I don't think it's dependent upon social media. That's the way we do it now. But
Yeah.
I think it's like, the way I look at it is like a flyer. So if this was 15 years ago and I was throwing a show and you came up to me and you're like, yo, have you been, promoting a show? And I was like, nah, I'm not passing out flyers. I don't believe in that. It's just garbage. You look at me like I was crazy. It's the same type of thing. It's like with social media, it's the way that people talk to each other. And I actually think it's a beautiful thing because you can actually talk to your fans straight up.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait till you see it on the show. You don't have to wait until like you have a project out. And not only that, it's just like you can find out right then and there why people don't like and like your stuff.
And I do appreciate those artists that are willing to interact with their fans. I mean, that's how I got my interview with like Run DMC. I'm pretty sure I just like tweeted them and was like, hey, like, I mean, it's weird that you can do that in 2018 to me. Cause I mean, I'm around your age and I feel like, growing up, I don't know, like what? I was 80s kid.
21? 22?
Oh yeah, I'm 22. Totally.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, 21. So no, but like I grew up in that era too, Like I went to the record store. I saw flyers. That's how I found out about things, And I had kids. I was introduced to No Need for Alarm because I was kicking it at a skateboard, like one stop, we called it. And everybody's hanging out down there like, oh shit, have you heard this? And I was like, no. And they put it on and I was like, holy fuck. And that's how I found Souls of Mischief. Sorry for the language. That's how I found Souls of Mischief. That's how I found Hyro. That's how I found everything. And it wasn't because of the internet. Obviously, it's because somebody told me, like, you need to listen to this. I've been a fan ever since. So yeah, I mean, things have definitely changed. Obviously, technology is a kind of a blessing and a curse, I feel, Totally. But hey,
you could just do more of it at once, but it's still the same thing. It's communication.
The other thing too is we're artists, so if I wasn't in the position I'm in now and I did social media the same way, it might be a little weird because I do think it's narcissistic, and I do think that you do have to watch what you say. So it definitely goes both ways. I understand the argument, but I just, as an artist, I hear other artists kind of like talk against social media. I'm just like, you're not looking at it the right way. Like, you actually can talk to people who appreciate your stuff and people that you're influencing.
Yeah, and I hate seeing too, like, other artists kind of go at other artists too. Like, I'll see that a lot. Like, they're like fighting each other and be like, oh, you suck and this and that. It's like, why are you using it this way? Like, we already have enough negative things happening. Like, yeah, all you have to do is go down the street right now. Apparently there's a pro-NRA rally.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry, that's your introduction to Fort Collins. Jesus. Yeah.
It's all good. Hope they come to the show tonight. Make it real interesting.
Hey, if I had a flyer, trust me, I'd be...
No guns allowed, though.
Well, yeah, keep your guns at the door, but please come in.
Yeah, so I see you sitting there with your skateboard. How long have you been skating now?
About 7, 8 years, roughly.
Yeah. Yeah, you got the triple kick flips down.
I don't care about triple kick.
It's just for transportation.
I just care about getting a nice, clean ollie, being able to get over the curb. That's it. I don't care about all of the other stuff.
That's it. Yeah.
That's hard enough. You know what I mean?
It looks like it. Damn. Yeah.
That's the part that a lot of people skip. You know what I'm saying? You'd think they wouldn't skip that part.
Yeah. So let's go back a little bit to the early days. Let's say let's go early 90s. So when you put out I Wish My Brother George Was Here, I guess, how did you gain you have this kind of like very niche fan base, like a very dedicated one. And I'm kind of wondering, like, was that kind of a word of mouth thing too? Like, how did Dell kind of become Dell? Like, how did this like...
Word of mouth, pretty much. You mean like from where I stay at and from that, like it was a point on a GPS or something? Okay. It started out with me, you are here, right? And I'm just battling people, whether it's battling with graffiti or battling with breaking or sometimes rapping. From that, people started to know who I was. I started getting a little reputation for being kind of clean or whatever, you know what I mean? Then from that, it just spread. And there wasn't too many people that was rapping or doing anything seriously with hip hop. So whoever that was good somewhere else heard of me, they'd be like, oh, okay, dude is cool too. And then we would hook up. Maybe battle, maybe not, you know what I mean? But that's how the word spread, because you battle, you in front of a whole bunch of people, like a crowd, a lot of times. So, whatever impression you leave with that crowd of people, you might as well be performing. You know what I'm saying? I did a lot of talent shows and stuff too, and that spread my name even further than that. Then I started working with Jinx, Sir Jinx, and he was down with Ice Cube at the time. So that's really when I started really making real songs.
Wow. So I was actually watching the Unsung documentary on Yo-Yo. I interviewed her a couple days ago.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, she was opening up for Eric B. and Rakim in Denver last Thursday. And I grabbed her and I was like, I gotta talk to you, and she really is a woman that I really respect in this hip hop game.
Yeah, Yo-Yo's great. She's great, definitely.
Yeah, well, actually, it's funny because in the documentary, Cube brings up Jinx, and Jinx is on that too. And so, how did, if you guys don't know, Ice Cube is Dell's cousin. So I'm kind of wondering, like, how did your relationship with him kind of help you along and vice versa? I know you did a lot of writing for him back in the day, if I'm correct. Yeah.
Cube?
Yeah.
Cube helped out a lot, but more on the end of coming out with the record. You know what I mean? The development, he wasn't really tripping that hard with that part. He kind of just was like, okay, you rap. In his mind, he probably was thinking, oh, you trying to rap now too? You know what I'm saying? That's something he might have been thinking, because he kind of just was like, oh, whatever. And then me and Jinx got the music good enough to where he started paying attention. Like, oh, okay, this is tight. Then he stepped in, he started adding a little bit to it too. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like we did a song called Smoked Out Charlie, and he played as Smoked Out Charlie. You know what I mean? You know Cube hella funny, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's how it started with that, you know what I mean? That and two, I was working with Sir Jinx in LA, and then my reputation started growing more from working with him. You know what I mean? Just in the streets and stuff, I mean. But that's the most important thing as far as I'm concerned. Like, you got to have that respect in the streets where you at. Otherwise, it's like, okay, who is you? Who is this fool? You just popped up out of nowhere or something. It's like somebody came and just handed you a deal and you just came out. You didn't do nothing. Who was you, you know?
Well, and I think it's interesting, too, though. You have Cube with NWA doing the, hardcore gangster shit. But then you, on the other hand, you're rapping about, like, comic books and like very different things. So did that feel kind of like I don't know, like was it a risk in any way, like for you to like be going up against this like kind of gangster rap wave that was at the time? Or
I wasn't really going against it, really, you know what I mean? I just kind of do things a little bit differently, you know what I mean? I wasn't really going against it though. I kind of see the same type of things that Cube does.
Well,
I just speak about it in different ways. You know what I mean?
You just have a different approach.
I got a different approach, true. Our music was inspired by the same type of music, though. Only difference between me and Cube as far as our favorite albums was I like more obscure hip-hop than he did. So I like Ultramagnetic MCs. I think they the greatest. or Gangstar. And he'd be like, why do you listen to Gangstar? Like, what do you think is so... He sounds monotone. Like, or why do you listen to Ultramagnetic? Cool Keith, I guess, is cool, but you like this? You know what I'm saying? Probably sound like garbage to him. You know what I mean? But I can understand why it would sound like that to him, because it was very experimental. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy, but that's why I liked it, because it was so crazy.
What were some of the artists that you had in common? I'm curious.
EPMD. We both love EPMD. We both love Public Enemy. You know what I'm saying? Everything you supposed to love, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Anybody with good taste, at least, I hope.
You feel me? Like all the standards that you would want to be bumping, especially EPMD and Public Enemy. Them two was on the radar all the time. KRS One. I remember Cube got Edutainment before it came out, and I was like, damn, you got Edutainment. Oh, and he had what's Fear of a Black Planet. He had Welcome to the Terror Dome. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. He was slapping that in his Samurai Suzuki. I was with him. Slapping that like all day, over and over.
Did that make you want to get your levels up? Like, oh man, I gotta improve my bars.
Oh no, I wasn't looking at it like that. I was more just geeking off of it like he was,
Yeah.
Their music is amazing, and that album in particular is just stupid.
Right, for sure. Well, you grew up in Texas, right?
Yes, San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio. So, around this time, were you kind of getting into the same music too? And like,
yeah. I mean, I was listening to Dell. I was listening to Cube. I grew up in a really weird situation. Now it wouldn't seem so weird, but I basically loved all music growing up. Being in Texas, I was around a lot of country music. I stayed on kind of like the north side of town, so I listened to a lot of skate punk, like Black Flag, Dead Kennedys.
Yep.
But then when the church I went to was on the east side of town, so I played the drums in the church. I listened to a lot of gospel and blues. And my cousins were from Virginia, Oklahoma. They were listening to a lot of hip hop. And so whenever I go see them during summer, I would come back with like hip hop mixtapes. My mom was really into classical music, and my dad plays jazz. So I always had to go to, symphonies every single month. I had to go to at least 2 symphonies. And my dad was playing the piano every single morning. So I just had an influx of just all this music.
Well, then that
so
makes
just
so
carried
much
with
sense.
Me.
Like on your music, I mean, you kind of inject all different kinds of styles. And that's what I really like about the new Dell record, or Dell and Amp Live record, I should say. It has so many different elements, and that was really brilliant to me. And the way that you were able to tie it together and make it so seamless for me was very impressive. So, I mean, hearing that's how you grew up, that makes a lot of sense.
It's just right there. It's really, really natural. I know now a lot of the kids are, you just go on Spotify, you can just pick different stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's awesome. But
It
for me,
is.
it's just, it was natural. So when I first started doing music, it was some conflict, like especially with the early Zion I stuff,
Wow.
because we were doing drum and bass and some other like a little bit more hardcore electronic things, and people were just like, "Why are you guys doing that?
Wow.
Like, please don't perform that. Like, we just want to hear boom bap." Oh yeah,
No.
yeah. There was a situation where we were warned not to do that, and
No way.
it was a lot. It changed our career. The fact that we kind of stepped out and like
Wow.
did something different, but people were just like, "Do not. You're in a great position at this show. Do not do that song."
What? Well, you came and did a show for us in Santa Fe, and what was that, 2010? And
Yeah.
you freaking blew my mind. Like, I loved
Thank
all
you.
that stuff, like the bass heavy. Oh, you still got the bass though on Dell's record too, this new record. Wow. But yeah, I would never have thought that somebody would say that to you. I mean, I guess I could see it's
This
a
was
little
early
bit.
19. This was like 1999, 2000.
Okay, so this is a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, now it's kind of like normal.
Don't play that raver stuff here.
Yeah.
Oh
will
shit!
get
Let's
kicked
not
out.
Some
talk
people still hated electronic music in general. Like, don't play that weirdo music. now it's there ain't nothing else
everywhere.
but it now. But
know.
I remember though, it was like, don't play that.
Wow.
Why are you playing that?
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I don't think it's that. I mean, I when I was 14, 15, I was going to stupid raves too, and
Me
I
too.
was hearing the worst music possible, but I was on a lot of drugs. So like, that is the truth. Like, I was on a lot of drugs and it was fine. But now that I'm clean and sober, by the way, when I listen to that shit, I'm like, like, make it stop. Like, I'm leaving. Like, this is terrible. I literally walked into a Skrillex show, turned around and walked out. I was there for 2 seconds.
You gotta feel it inside.
Yeah,
You
I didn't feel it inside. I was like, oh, just get me out of here. But yeah,
I like rash, obnoxious music though sometimes.
when is the right time for that? Let me.
When you really are upset and you just want to start, you want to sock somebody or you want to break something,
Maybe
but you
you're
don't
right.
want to do that.
Working out.
Can
You
you
know what I'm
listen to
saying?
like Suicidal Tendencies for that or something?
Yeah, I mean, like
That's
that
what
could
it
be
is.
it. Yeah.
You know what though? That's what it is. People don't realize that that like a lot of this new hard stuff is what the hard rock and all that stuff was back in the day. It's giving
Yep.
you the same emotion.
That's
you know?
interesting because I just saw an article about that today, is that how kind of the younger generation is really into rock and infusing rock into a lot of their music. You know, so it's interesting. I don't know.
When has rock not been an influence though?
I know, that's so true. I mean, Beastie Boys started doing it back in the day, and like what, License to Ill, 86.
Yeah.
We had Rick Rubin putting all kinds of crazy rock on their record. So what can fans expect tonight at the show? Like, what kind of, are you going to do like, old Dell material, news?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, we mix it up. I mean, the focus is Gate 13.
Right.
So it's like we're definitely doing the album. We also have fun on stage. If any of you guys know, you've seen me before, we definitely go off the grid and try to just do things different, but just have a good time. Keep it moving, Yeah.
I'm excited. You guys want to tell everybody what time your set starts?
I don't know.
Tonight.
Sometime
time?
tonight in the future.
Just show up.
Thank you. That was very informative.
Yeah. 8 o'clock on.
All right, so I kind of want to open the floor to the audience and see if there's any questions out there for these gentlemen.
Ask anything. We're open books.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
Oh man.
Okay. I don't even know if that's a true statement or not. You know what I'm saying? But me personally, I was around that whole type of counterculture, and rock was included with that skater culture. So I was already into rock anyway. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the Bay Area, so Summer of Love, all that. That's where it's popping at for real. You know what I'm saying? So I know about a lot of that stuff. So I guess that's kind of how I just got. You know what? That's who I could hang with. You know what I'm saying? Like They was the kids I could hang with. I couldn't hang with the extra cool kids at school or whatever. Like I was a weirdo to them. So I hung out with who I hung out with. You know what I'm saying? Some of them dudes are skaters. Some of them was into more hard rock or something like that. You know what I mean? Heavy metal maybe, you know. Very few hip hop kids because there wasn't very many hip hop kids for me. But now that's the connection though, I guess. The angst of that time too. That was just the way it was expressed. I didn't skate back then though. You know what I mean? Like I hurt myself and I was like, nah, it's not for me. Yeah.
What happened?
I bombed down a hill and damn near killed myself.
Did you hit a pebble?
I don't know what I did. I started wobbling and then got thrown off my board.
Damn. So I feel like hip hop music, blah, 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 any kind of music really went with skating, I mean, since day one. So yeah, next question.
So Bay Area has been like kind of an incubator for like a lot of monumental and revolutionary music. And what do you think is unique about the Bay that helps it kind of produce game-changing music?
I think the people there and well, it's kind of changed now, but it's just the people will support underground music. The reason before Zion and I came to the Bay, we were in Atlanta, and it was a totally different thing happening. Like you would pass out your CDs, tapes, people would just look at them, whatever. You couldn't do shows if you weren't on the radio. In the Bay, you could actually do shows, and people may not know you, but they'll come to the show because it's a hip hop show. You know, with that type of environment, as a upcoming group, I mean, you could really blossom because you're performing all the time in front of people and just really gaining a fan base and learning how to be an artist. And I think it's like that for rock, for electronic music, for hip hop. So it's like a breeding ground for underground music, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Also though, like I think too that it's a lot of culture involved in the Bay Area. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, you got a whole group of people kind of doing this type of thing. You know, some of them might get to be performers or whatever. But even if you're not performing, you coming to see it because that's kind of what you do too, or you into it in some way. So I think that has a lot to do with it. It's multicultural too in the Bay Area. So I think just the melting pot of different cultures living in such close proximity, I think that helps develop a lot of creativity as well. I think it's hard to live in the Bay Area too, you know what I'm saying?
Right
like,
now, especially.
Yeah,
It's
especially
like
right now.
really expensive too, like
Yeah.
rent.
And that's changed the music industry
Yeah.
there. So that's why I mean, it kind of is shifting. I hope it shifts back, but a lot of people who perform in the Bay can't afford to live there anymore. So now it's changing what's happening, you know?
Yeah, I've even heard a couple artists that live there say like they need to kind of move because they can't
Oh, yeah,
really even
everybody.
afford
Yeah.
to live there anymore.
Yeah.
It's getting so expensive.
That's right.
It's
So-
ridiculous. It's this like a takeover.
It's going down.
But I think that's why the creativity kind of high too, because when you have to deal with a lot of stuff, you know, you need some way to express how you feel. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you know, the medium means more to you, I think.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Cody, because I know your name. Is that right? Corey. Sorry. Thought I did. Great album.
Thank you.
Style.
Man, people say that I have a sound and I don't hear it. Like, I don't know what they're talking about. And it's just weird. So it's like, I try so hard to get a sound, but it's a weird disconnect for me. So I don't know. I just really I just do it, you know, and I feel like putting snares here and that type of thing, you know. But it's just me though. That's the thing about it. Like I will take a country song and make it sound like a classical, you know, music piece,
Like
or
a
what? Because it's
symphony.
just like I
Yeah.
just feel like that, you know. I want to take this element, but I want the outcome to be like this. I want this hip hop song to like feel like this, but then I want to add this little bit of element to it that's gonna kind of throw it off. It's just, yeah, it's just a part of me, honestly.
Well, yeah,
You
I
know?
mean, like he kind of explained, like growing up the way he did, like
Yeah.
you had so many different influences.
Yeah.
See, I think my parents were that shit too, because my dad was in a rock band my whole life. So
Yeah.
growing up, he played like everything, and so he got me into everything. The Clash, I mean, you name it, Beatles. But he was the one that bought me my first hip hop tape. It was actually Beastie Boys, and my mom was pissed.
Yeah.
Yes, she still is pissed about that.
Did your shirt say Ad Rock?
Huh? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was tripping out there.
Is that all right? Is that all right with you?
That's dope.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, the Beastie Boys is hard.
I got to meet them when I was 14. It was still like, it's still one of the best days of my life.
Heck yeah.
I gotta be honest. Oh, we have a question back here. Greg.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, nice.
damn.
That's crazy.
Nice part of
Thank you.
history right there.
All right.
Okay, so I have to ask one question real fast too. So the Music District's motto is find your place in music. Now we kind of touched on this with Del a little bit. Amp, how did you find your place in music? And then Del, if you could answer that after.
What you mean find your place? Like know that we want to do this for a
Yeah,
living?
kind of like find your spot, your groove.
I just have to do music or I'll be unhappy.
Yeah.
You know, everybody on earth has a calling for something. And it's all apples and oranges. Nobody's better than the next. Mine is just music. Like I hear beats all the time. I like to control stuff and organize it. And it just, my mom is super creative, like overly creative. And my dad is super musical. So it just came together. And this is just what I have to do.
You're like
you know?
the kind of the perfect blend of both of them.
Okay.
In a way, right?
I think we all
Yeah.
are in a way, but yeah.
What
Yeah.
about you, Del?
Man, you know what? I'm a visual artist first, so that's what I was doing before for like years. I've been to school, study for all that, you know. But music just had a quicker kickback for me. Like I could get the gratification of creating like a beat hella quicker than it takes for me to draw some Transformers or something. Like drawing to take hella long, you know what I'm saying? Hella long, agonizing, like, you know what I mean? I mean, if you really trying to draw something, it take hella long, you know what I mean? A beat you can make in like minutes.
Yes.
So it
Not
just
all
was,
beats, though.
Not always. Not always, the maestro says.
but I always like sound too. Sound is something I'm into.
Yes.
So music, I always had music around me, you know, but hip hop just was, I was already into funk, but hip hop was like ultra funk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it had some of the same elements, but it was harder, rougher. All the stuff that I wasn't supposed to be listening to, I got to hear. So that's why I went that
So
way.
is that where the funky part came from?
I guess. I mean, oh yeah, my name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not from that, but from funk, yeah.
Love it. Love it. Okay, let's a couple more audience questions. Guy in the Beat It shirt. Love that.
Thanks for coming and speaking with us today. Del, when your first record came out, it came out in '91, and '91 was like a really weird time for like the mainstream just in general with their relationship with like underground music, and like kind of what happened at the end of '91 with Nirvana, like in terms of rock bands, the label's focus shifted away from whatever hair metal was big in the '80s to let's sign every motherfucker in Seattle.
Right.
So likewise, something similarly happened with hip hop with the release of The Chronic, with that being such a big fucking record. Your first record came out pre-Chronic. Your second record came out after The Chronic. Do you feel any pressure from Elektra to, you know, I guess have certain kinds of projections for sales or how to shape your record or anything like that?
Nope. You know what? I don't have nothing really bad to say about Elektra because they let me get away with a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? That afterwards I learned record companies don't really let people do all that. You know what I mean? Like down to my record cover, like I got to design my own record cover pretty much. I mean, the professionals put it together, but I was basically telling them what I wanted. You feel me? That's like huge, you know? So, no, I don't really have nothing bad to say about them. Actually, I was nurtured pretty good there, I would say, you know? So I don't have the same horror story that other people have, but I know what you're talking about, though. You know, just industries, people that work up here, they're not really focused on that. They focus, can it make me money? Can it not make me money? Okay, that's making money, but they don't understand that that's making money because it has a need. Once that's done with, they don't need you copying it. They already got it here.
Yep.
So
You know the irony of what the question is? So during that time, I was in a group called Metaphor. We had just gotten signed to Tommy Boy. And so we were working with Dallas Austin, Spearhead X, a couple other people. We got signed off of an EP that we did in Atlanta. So we're all in Atlanta, so of course it's going to have like a southern type of vibe. One of the MCs was from New York, one of them was from Cali, so it was just a mixture of everything. We turned in the album, and the label was like, you guys need to make it sound more like this. And who did they point to? Souls, Far Side, and yeah. And that basically broke the group up because I started trying to make music like 93 Till Infinity and like, you know, some of the stuff kind of out of Cali, and like it just wasn't gelling. And like it's just crazy how it's all come together. No, not
Dante
Monica.
signed me at Electra.
Yeah. Ian. There's a guy by the name of Ian. I think he's from the UK. But anyways.
Nice.
More questions.
Okay. I've seen it before.
What's some of the younger, less known cats you guys are bumping yourselves on the regular now?
On the regular, not nothing, man, not nothing really, to tell you the truth. Man, I hate to admit this, but I like Lil Pump shit, you know what I'm saying?
No.
I listen to him.
Oh.
So I listen to him sometimes. But I like it because it has a certain attitude that's just wild. So that's why I like that. I'm not listening to that trying to get no phenomenal lyric out of that.
You know what's
man,
dope?
They just got in a fight with J. Cole, that guy.
That's
Lil
not
Pump,
even a fight.
They're fight. Well,
J. Cole, I hear sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Everybody come out stuff, you
You
know,
know what I
that's
like
major.
about what they're doing
Yeah.
though?
But I watch
What?
battle rap more than anything.
That
That's I
first,
stay focused on that pretty much.
that first Little Pump EP, I like the fact that some of those songs were like a minute and a half.
Me too.
punk
And
rock,
you know what-
but
you know
that's
what
the
else is
punk rock
crazy?
Quick
aesthetic.
The
gratification.
sound of it, and then that first XX Extension, like the mixing and mastering is horrible. But I
Yes.
think they're like on some punk shit. They're like,
Basically.
they're like, fuck it, we're
No,
gonna do
actually,
this. And like,
I'm working on an editorial about
Yeah.
that as we speak. Is like kind of how hip hop is almost like the new punk rock in a sense.
yeah, the early now when I look at them, it's a little different. But when they first started, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Real quick, then, since we kind of brought up J. Cole, did you guys hear the song 1985?
Yeah, new album is
Nah.
fire. I love the new album.
Okay, please play 1985 after this.
Yeah.
Does
okay.
it sound like it's 1985?
Now he's going after like
He's
pumping
going
them.
after. Well,
Yeah.
supposedly, like Lil Pump thinks it's like a diss, but like Cole says it's not. Okay, so it's
It
like
is,
this
though.
big BS.
It's not a diss. You just imagining things.
It's
a
warranted.
diss.
No, he was right though.
But
He
like
was
the
right.
words that he says, I mean, amazing. Like I played
Yeah.
it for Blockhead. We were riding in the car. We had to take him to the airport the other day, and he was like, "Oh my, I just got chills." You know, like
Yeah.
the words that he's saying are incredible. I think kids need to listen up. And I'm sorry if I sound old, and I'm sorry if that dated me, but like what
No,
he's saying on 85 is
They definitely need to listen to what
Yeah.
he's saying, and not take it. They need to take it as like, this is somebody who's a step ahead of me, because he is. Like
is.
J. Cole is gonna be around.
Mhm.
They really just need to listen and be like, you know what, you're right, because it's what he's talking about is truth, and it really isn't a diss. It's just a lot of ego involved, and like, yeah, it's hard for them to
basically it's
accept
kind
it.
of like the glow in a sense, because you know he's talking about on the song that like these kids are getting caught up in all the money and the fame, but that shit's going to be gone in a couple seconds if you're just following trends and not really staying true to yourself, which you guys have kind of preached
Yeah.
throughout this whole conversation, is that you got to stay real and stay true to yourself and make the music that you feel that you need to make, not what other people are dictating you to make.
I think they
Even
are.
if that's
though.
Little Pump.
No, but
and
I-
that's the music he
thing,
choose to
though.
make. Okay,
I
well,
think
go
they
ahead.
are. They are choosing to make the music they want.
Right.
I just think he's probably saying, just be smart with your money. Like when you're young and you're
Yeah.
making that much money, you're gonna flaunt, and you need to get it out of your system.
Right.
But he's also saying, on the other hand, look towards the future.
Right,
And
they
I
could bite
think
you in
that's
the
what they need to kind of take out of it. It's not that like you shouldn't be wilding out and spending your money, but realize that it's going to come to an end. And what are you going to have left?
Yep.
Like your message right now is something, but your fans are going to get older. And then what are you going to have left?
Right.
You need to
gotta
have
have a
something that's
little
going to carry.
substance. Gotta
Yeah.
have
And
a
I
little
mean, it's a lot of truth in that.
Yeah,
So
I loved it. So yeah, Dell has some homework. 1985.
What's that?
Listen to 1985.
Oh, okay.
we'll listen to it.
Okay, one more question before we wrap up. Sure.
Okay.
Thinking about staying true to yourself in following tradition in the Bay Area, can you guys speak about
Yeah. I fool with Lil B too.
Oh, the
He
bass
cool.
god.
Yeah, what you want to know, bro?
Have you met him?
Yeah.
Okay. What is he like? What's great about him?
He's nice.
He's cool. He's
Yeah.
real cool, kind of quiet. You know what I mean? He's cool.
We
To me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know about to everybody, but nah, he's cool. He's real level-headed. You know what I'm saying? He's really into hip-hop.
I was gonna
You know what I'm saying?
No, Dell, he's actually super approachable. Like we actually text a little bit here and there because I'm trying to get him to this interview, but like he's like, yes, let's do it, and then he'll like disappear for a month.
Sound like me.
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, Little B seems cool. I mean, what do you think of his whole like love message? Like he's preaching love pretty much nonstop on Twitter.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean,
not?
yeah, I
But
believe
that's
him.
what Kanye's doing, but now it's blowing up in his face.
Well,
So it's like, yeah, it's interesting times we're living in. Well, I guess that's all the time we have right now, but you guys know where they'll be tonight. Aggie Theater. Don't miss it. That's all.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
But you don't have to.